I suppose the primary question is, with all this stuff out there, is whether to go it alone and gain your own unique voice like you did, you're famously self-taught, or go to art school and learn the basics like everybody else.
Well, I think the best thing is to go to art school, whatever happens, because it's always good to give yourself a good grounding in art and know about art. On the other hand, if you go to art school, you're often given lots of ideas or filled with lots of ideas that won't help you in becoming a sequential artist. So I think it's very difficult to make any or give any real advice about that. I'm self-taught because that was my situation. I began my career in a commercial art studio which specialised in still life work. I mean, I used to draw battery chargers and refrigerators and stuff like that. I mean, and anything that was like figure drawing was farmed out. So I wasn't trained in that, and I had to teach myself how to do figure drawing. So it was a situation I was in that forced me to be self-taught. I wouldn't actually advise it for people. What you really need, though, is art schools that really respect sequential art and the values of it. Whereas still, a lot of art schools dismiss this sort of work as kind of second-rate art, when in fact it isn't. But I think that's changing now. So I would say, overall, I would say go and go to art school, but you must really take on yourself the task of learning as much as you can about figure drawing and perspective. You can't leave it to art school. Just become as good an artist as you can, because effectively sequential art is a technical operation, really. If you can draw well, drawing well in sequential art is technical. There's a lot of technicalities involved in it. But once you master those, that's it. So, but learning how to draw well is the most important thing. So you should really go to art school, I think.
Another thing that's noticeable amongst this clutch of great writers and artists we have in Britain is a lot of them don't live in London. Is location important as a writer or artist, since you are both? With Alan Moore in Northampton, you in Brighton, I think Grant Morrison is somewhere in the countryside in Scotland. Maybe with the exception of Warren Ellis, a lot of them seem to be in quite remote places.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask those guys. I mean, I think that people actually are in a place because that's just what they happen to be. I mean, freelancers are all over the place. I mean, people, and I think maybe, I mean, if you are a writer, it's probably better to be somewhere where you can think, rather than be in the middle of a pressurized place or a place where there's lots of noise, because then you can't think. It's complex. I think if you took a poll of artists and writers through the years, then there were some writers who had to stay in New York in order to write about New York, or I don't know. I mean, personally, I think that if you need to think, then you do need some quiet. I mean, let's face it. George Orwell wrote 1984 on an island, as far away from anything that represented the sort of place that he was writing about, or the sort of atmosphere he was writing about in 1984. I don't know. I think it's horses for courses there. It just depends on the artist, I think.
Where a lot of comic creators have a very